There's something I've never really talked about before. People think that because I'm quiet, I'm shy, but that's not really it. Even when I'm surrounded by people I care about, I still feel like I'm standing on the outside looking in. I've spent years keeping everything to myself because I never really knew how to express what I was feeling. After I was doing that for so long, it becomes a habit. Eventually, it starts to feel like you're wearing a suit of armor. At first, it protects you. But over time, it gets so heavy that you forget what it feels like to take it off. Even when you want to open up, it's like something inside you just won't let you. Looking back, I think I've spent so much of my life trying to stay strong so that I've never actually learned how to be vulnerable. Every setback, every difficult moment, every time I told myself to just push through it, I got better at surviving, but got worse at letting people know what was really going on inside my head. For a long time, I thought that's just who I was. I told myself that some people are naturally outgoing and some people aren't, that maybe I was just meant to stay quiet. But the more I thought about it, the more I've realized being quiet isn't really the problem. The problem is that somewhere along the way, I convinced myself that whatever I was feeling was something that I had to deal with on my own. If something hurt, I kept it to myself. If I was struggling, I smiled and said I was fine. If I was worried about the future, I buried it and distracted myself. Not because I wanted to lie to the people around me, but because I genuinely didn't know how to explain what was going on in my own head. It's strange because I can sit here and talk to a camera easier than I can sometimes talk to someone sitting right next to me. I've always found that confusing. I care deeply about the people in my life. I love my family. I appreciate my friends, but for some reason, I've always struggled to let them see what's really going on inside my head. It's almost like there's a wall there. I know what I want to say, I just can't seem to get the words out. And after years of doing that, you almost stop trying. You begin to accept that this is just who you are. But lately, I've started questioning that. Maybe it isn't who I am. Maybe it's just who I've become. There's a difference, and that's something I've started to realize during this challenge. It's only been a few weeks, but this challenge was never just about getting stronger physically. I've said in previous videos that it's also a bit about becoming mentally stronger. When I first started this, I thought the biggest challenge was going to be the workouts. I thought the hardest part would be pushing myself when my body was tired. Staying consistent and showing up every day. But what I've realised, the hardest battles aren't always physical. Sometimes the hardest battles are the ones nobody else can see. The thoughts you have when you're alone. The things you keep to yourself. The conversations you replay in your head. The parts of yourself that you've spent years avoiding. And for me, this challenge has started to bring those things to the surface. Because becoming stronger isn't just about building muscle or improving your fitness. It's about building the mindset to keep going when life gets difficult. It's about facing the parts of yourself you've spent years running from. This challenge has tested me in ways I never expected, not just physically, but mentally as well. I've realised that discipline isn't just forcing yourself to train when you don't feel like it. Sometimes discipline is choosing to face uncomfortable truths about yourself instead of pretending they don't exist. Sometimes it's admitting that you're not okay, Sometimes it's asking yourself why you've spent so long hiding behind that armor. And honestly, I still don't have all the answers. I don't know why I've always found it so difficult to express myself. I don't know why I've always felt like I was standing on the outside looking in. But maybe I'll understand it one day. Maybe I won't. But I do know one thing. If I want to become a better version of myself, I can't just work on the outside. Building muscle is great. Getting fitter is great. But none of that none of that means much if I never learn how to become stronger on the inside too. Maybe that's what this challenge has really become. Not just changing my body, changing who I am. Learning how to become more open. Learning how to stop hiding behind that armor. Learning that being mentally strong doesn't mean pretending nothing affects you. Sometimes being mentally strong means having the courage to let people see the parts of you that you've spent years trying to hide. Even making this video feels uncomfortable. A part of me wants to delete it before anyone ever sees it, but another part of me knows that if I keep avoiding these feelings, nothing is ever going to change. Growth doesn't only happen when you're lifting heavier weights. Sometimes growth happens when you do something that scares you. For me, this is one of those moments. So maybe I won't wake up tomorrow as a completely different person. Maybe I'll struggle to express myself. Maybe I'll still overthink conversations. Maybe I'll still feel like I don't quite fit in sometimes. But if I can become even 1% more honest than I was yesterday, that's progress. And that's enough for me. If you've ever felt like you're standing on the outside looking in, if you've ever struggled to let people know what's really going on in your head, I hope you know you're not alone. I'm still figuring it out too. Maybe that's what growth really is. Not having all the answers, but choosing to keep moving forward anyway. One workout, one conversation, one uncomfortable step at a time. I'll see you next week.